Hello, good morning. How are you today? My name is Praise for Way. It's such an awesome privilege for me to be with you again today. We do it 3 a.m. every day. We are live. Well, I think this is episode 37. It's been 37 days of consistently coming out here every 3 a.m., and I think tomorrow we will be experimenting directly from YouTube. So if you don't see me on Facebook or Instagram tomorrow, you might need to come on my YouTube channel at 3 a.m., so that we can, use some other functionalities that can help us learn better. And, I love to do slide presentations, so it's always better with many of my followers so that you also can, basically play it over and over again. And where you need to use workbooks, you can use workbook. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the power of signal, right? Many years ago, when I was starting out in my trade, I remember clearly, that I met my mentor, and my mentor asked me what I wanted to talk on or what I wanted to focus on. And, I told him it's a number of things. Typical of us in Nigeria, when you ask people what exactly do you do, or we ask people to introduce themselves, they have a way of telling you 1001 things that they are doing. We do that so well in Nigeria. You ask people, what exactly do you do? And someone will tell you, oh, I'm a fashion designer. I'm also a caterer. But on the side, I'm also a motivational speaker. People say all kinds of things when you ask them to introduce themselves. Okay? Oh, God. So when you ask people to introduce themselves, they find a way, to just mention all kinds of things. So I struggle to find one person who introduce themselves as doing one thing. Consistently, when I meet people and ask them to introduce themselves, they give me like 5 different things. Now, they think it's fine that you can be a jack of all trade, or you are good at something, you are good at many things. Yeah, that could be an asset somehow, but one thing it will take away from you is the power of focus and the power of clarity, right? That an average person does not know. That is counterproductive when you introduce yourself as doing too many things, right? So you see people's profile, you see people's introduction of themselves, even you see the business card, and the business card is saying, I am forwarding, backwarding, sideways, all-rounding agent, right? Which means they are jack of all trade. You see someone give you a complimentary card, and the complimentary card is saying that it's a medical doctor or is a trader, it is like 4 different things, right? So I have benefited clearly from mentoring. And one of the things my mentor said to me when I was starting out was, because I was multi-talented, and if you're multi-talented like me, one of the biggest problems of multi-talented people is on what to focus on, because they can do so many things. So I was brought up as a pastor's kid in the Anglican communion, so which meant naturally I was music inclined. I play almost all the instruments. I sing so well. I could do a lot of things. I could write. I could, so I was a bit confused. When I left school, I could do so many, I acquired new skills. I could speak. I wanted to talk on identity. I wanted to talk about marriage. I wanted to talk about all kinds of things, And fortunately, I met my mentor. My mentor used to have the same problem. And he said to me, Praise, what you need to do is to choose one of your talents, choose the dominant one, and close your eyes to every other thing. That was like the worst advice anyone could give me. It was as if it was going to kill me. Because after I left school and I came back to Lagos, I'd created a band. We started rehearsing. I thought I was going to be the next fella, Nicola Kukuti, because of the brand of music I was playing. I'd written about 100 songs. I was pretty, rehearsing every day. I would be on the keyboard. I would be, creating harmony around my songs. At the same time, afternoon, I will go and impact a group of young people. I'll gather them and impact them, speak into their lives. So I just wanted to do so many things, right? So, and I was doing that, and I thought I was doing well, but I was spreading myself sideways. I was not moving in the forward direction. Now, the downside to introducing yourself as doing too many things is this. When the critical decisions about your life is about to be taken, at the highest level, nobody will mention your name. You know why? Because you are involved in too many things, so you are a specialist at none. One thing I do, that's Paul speaking, right? One thing I do. And Jesus was talking to someone, he said, one thing you lack, right? If your eye is single, your whole body is full of light. It's talking about the power of focus, because focus creates blindness and focus makes you travel very fast. So my mentor said to me, praise, choose one dominant talent and close your eyes to every other thing. I said, so what's going to happen to all that my other talent? He said to me, praise, if you focus on one thing, that one thing will bring you to the market. When the market has accepted you, whatever carries your name will sell, then you can diversify. Now, what many of us do is to do jack of all trades for several years of our life without specializing at anything. Now, you can do jack for a period and now till you find what you want to specialize in. But when you do jack for the rest of your life, I was sharing with people, some of my distinguished professional colleagues yesterday, that there are aspects of me that people don't know that I do. There are, especially the strategy part of me is not advertised anywhere. So last year, a lot of clients began to call me to do strategy, began to call me to do corporate trainings that I stopped doing like 8 years ago. Of course, the money was good. I could still do it, but you will hardly see me advertise it because you don't want to dilute your brand and confuse the people who are looking for you. Now, so when you introduce yourself as doing 4 different things, right? What is going to happen is that you are a specialist at nothing. So let's assume that in Aso Rock, let's assume you sing, you act, what else can you do? You teach or you motivate. That's 4. You act, you sing, you motivate, and let's say you dance, right? Now imagine there is someone else who is only dancing. There is someone else who is only motivating. There's someone else who is only acting, and there's someone else who is doing the 4th thing. Now, at the highest level, because the person dancing is only dancing, so every day is going to be dancing, which means it will be known for dancing. The person singing is going to be known for singing. The person acting is going to be known for acting, right? And the person motivating is going to be known for motivating. That's all they do. But you do the 4. Now, you would realize that so you do dancing on Monday, you do singing on Tuesday, you do motivating on Wednesday, then you do the 4th thing on Thursday, right? So you realize that you are spending less time than these other people who are focused on their trade. Now, what's going to happen is the public, we know these other guys are specialists for doing one thing. So let's say there's a discussion in Aso Rock or, wherever the presidential lodge of your country is located. When discussions are going to be talked about, so let's assume that the president needed a dancer. Your name is not going to show up because there is one person who is known for dancing. The president needs a motivational speaker. Your name is not going to show up because there's someone who does it every day. The president needs an actor. Your name is not going to show up because there's someone, and your name is not going to show up. In fact, has it not happened to you before that some people knew you, they were in the position to recommend you, but they completely forgot what you are about? Why? Because you have diffused your brand, diluted your brand. You do several things that they don't know exactly what you're a specialist at. So I learned way back to close my eyes to every other talent. So I retired as a singer, retired as a footballer, retired as everything, and I focused on speaking and training. Even in speaking, my mentor said I should look for what nobody's doing, or I should look for what they are doing, but they are not doing the way I want it done. I've always wanted to teach on marriage and help people build marriages. But there was Pastor Bimbo Dukoya in that terrain, and she was my boss that served her, worked for her, right? I realized I'll be an echo. So I went, contrary and went to focus on something else because I realized that there were no content for child sexual abuse prevention in Nigeria. I focused on that, people knew me for that, sexuality education, and that brought me to the market. From there, I was able to veer back to what I originally wanted to do, right? I do a whole lot of things right now. But when I was starting out, it was only one thing. Every speaking engagement that contradicted what I wanted to teach, I turned it down. It was losing money, but it paid off eventually because At some point in time, no conference could hold without my name being there in my sector. I literally became number one, right? Now, when it comes to the power of signal, you need to understand it is counterproductive when you are sending various signals and you are just one person. I mean, we do it so well. It's distracting. Many people don't know, right? So imagine that you turn on your cable channel to Super Sport. What would you expect on Super Sport? Of course, sports. Imagine you got on Super Sport and you saw home video or Nollywood or Hollywood and you saw lovers kissing them on Super Sport. You will be shocked. Why? Because the signal that Super Sport was supposed to send to you was sport. They couldn't have added drama to it. Imagine you check Channel O on your cable. What would you expect on Channel O? Of course, music. Imagine you got on Channel O and you started seeing Channel O, they were playing football there. You will know that something has gone wrong, right? Imagine you got on a station called Tiger Woods. What would you expect? Of course, golf, because his name defined golf. One thing he does several other business interests, but one thing he's known for is golf. Imagine there's a station called Osama bin Laden. What would you expect? Of course, terrorism, right? I mean, you realize that I am mentioning these names and the same thing is coming to all our minds. Why? Because of the power of signal, consistency of the signal. If there is a station called CNN, what would you expect? Of course, news. You will not get on CNN and you expect them, to be throwing a party and everybody is dancing and you see Usher there, you see 50 Cent there and you see Cardi B there and everyone is romancing and they are doing Indian movie, you'll be shocked because CNN is known for news. Right. So CNN has not woken up to say, wow, let us add movie to what we are doing. No, if they needed to add movie, they will need to create another station. If there is a station called Muhammad Ali, what would you expect? You would expect to find boxing because Muhammad Ali is known for boxing, right? Imagine if there's a station called Muhammad Ali and you get there and you found football, you are going to almost rebel against it because that's not it. Now imagine a station called John Omoskuli. John Omoskuli. What would you expect? Of course, nothing is coming to your mind. It's almost saying error, 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 error. Why? Is there no name called John? There's a guy called John Omoskuli. John Omoskuli is somewhere, right? But we don't know what it's all about. So error is what is on our mind because we don't know what John Omoskuli does, right? John Omoskuli has not sent the right signal. But let me shock you. If John Omoskuli mentions your name or if I mention your name to John Omoskuli, what comes to his mind about you, right? It might be error. It might be, so many things, right? So when you spread yourself too large, too thin, right? You realize that people are confused about what you are about. The question this morning is, are you a signal or are you a subscriber? Are you a signal or you are a subscriber? And if you are a signal, what signal are you sending, right? A lot of people say to me, you can't determine what people say about you. It's not correct. There's a way you can determine what people say intentionally. It's called intentional living. That if you think about me, only one thing will come to your mind. I can determine that intentionally by intentional living. I mean, there was a time I ran that exercise. It was a research for 1 year, right? And I said to myself, Praise, if you met people for 5 minutes and you don't shift their brain, it wasn't you they met. So I started what we call 1 minute impact. That if I met you for 5 minutes, you will leave me thinking, right? So every time I did it round the year, every day, and I asked people, what do you think about me? And it was the same thing everybody was saying. There was a time I used to train banks many years ago. I used to train bank PHB, Oceanic, GT Bank. I was a management consultant. After every of my training, we will ask the client if there is one word to describe this training, what would it be? And all of them will say, wow, we did not tell them, but that was the word we were working for, right? So what signal are you sending with your life? There are 4 types of signal. There's the right signal, there's the wrong signal, there is mixed signal, and there is no signal. Now, right signal is the signal you want to be known for. That's what you are known for. You do several things, but it's one thing consistently that you're working on. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, if you choose one field of endeavor today and you spend 4 hours every day, let's even say 2 hours every day to research on it, to study on it, in exactly 2 years, right? Or in less than 2 years, actually, you will become an authority in that field, right? Because all your brain, like my brain has no capacity for mathematics right now. So if you give me a job on mathematics, I'm going to reject it. My brain doesn't have capacity for, business management. So oftentimes when people talk about business, I keep quiet, right? My brain doesn't have capacity. But what my brain knows, family life, I know it to the highest level. Trust me, I can stay on any platform anywhere in the world and make sense to my hearers. Why? Because that's what I focused on. I remember in the days of cyber cafe, in the days of disquette, I would go to the cyber cafe and spend 7 hours every day studying this field, studying things that I have no business with. I'll pick nations alphabet by alphabet and study family life and marriages and divorce rate in those nations. I'll study the child sexual abuse rate. I'll study the rate of pregnancy, right? Those were the things I was doing, right? So what is the right signal you want to send? If you want to be known for one thing, what would it be? Can you write it down this morning? Right? That's right signal. Now, wrong signal is when you want to you think you are sending the right signal, but people are interpreting something else, right? It's not a good way to live, right? I remember that Dr. David Oyedepo was saying that there was a time, they realized that people were not coming to their church. So they went to do a survey to ask, what do you think about us, right? They went to ask people, what do you think about us? And people say, you guys are a white garment, you're a white garment church or something like that, right? Meanwhile, they're not a white garment church. It's amazing, right? That someone is doing something else, but people are interpreting something else, right? So you want to check yourself and ask, right, what exactly what am I, who do I call myself and what do people call me? The moment what you call yourself is different from what people say you are, you need to check something critically about you and make immediate adjustment. You need to make immediate adjustment, right? Next is the mixed signal, right? Where you are neither here nor there, right? People don't know exactly what you're about, right? So I'm sorry, people on Facebook, I think you got caught up a bit because of network, but Instagram is fine, right? So I was saying that, right, I gave an example about Dr. David Oyedepo for those of you on Facebook, right, that there was a time he went to check why people were not coming to his church, and people said that his church was a white garment church. And I said that the moment what you call yourself contradicts what people think you are, that is a wrong signal, right? It means you are sending there's something about you that is not in sync with what you want to communicate, and you want to check it clearly. In fact, at some point, I realized that every time I comment about politics and blah, 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 and I was almost becoming a politician, so I had to say to myself, Praise, this is not the brand you want to project, so you need to shut up and stop talking about politics and focus on what you want to do, right? So people can send wrong signal thinking they're sending right signal. Number 3 is mixed signal. Mixed signal is when you send right signal, wrong signal, so you diffuse and dilute your brand, right? So you say today you're a management consultant, tomorrow you are a dancer, tomorrow you are a cook, tomorrow, so you say, what exactly do you do? I'm a management consultant, but I'm also a customer service rep, but also I'm a cook, and on the side, I can sing, right? That is a mixed signal, because you will not be known for anything eventually. You'll be known for several things on the side. So yes, people will recommend you get, stipend, but at the highest level of expression, you will not be able to feature. But there's a one that is even worse. The worst part of it is the 4th level, which is no signal. There are people that there is nothing about their life. When people remember them, there is nothing to think about. There is nothing to show for, there is nothing at all. Now that is a very wrong way to live life. Now you need to ask yourself today, exactly what signal do you want to send? Now there's a cable station called MultiChoice, cable company. MultiChoice gives you the option of subscribing for the signal of your choice. How many people can subscribe for your signal? Now, Multiple gives you the option of subscribing for the signal of your choice. How many people can subscribe to your signal, right? That's a critical question you need to answer. How many people can subscribe to your signal, right? So you need to ask yourself, what is the reach and the quality of your signal? What is the reach and the quality of your signal? Now, if your signal cannot reach the targeted audience, or if your signal is not qualitative enough, something is going to go wrong in there, right? So you want to ask yourself, what is the reach and the quality of my signal? Which means you need to ask people around you, right? That when you think about me, what comes to your mind, right? If your signal is not even reaching the people in your immediate environment, something is fundamentally wrong. That when they think about you, if you ask, 10 people in your life right now to say, when my name is mentioned, what comes to your mind? And if they give you 10 different, areas of expression, you're already in trouble. You need to adjust something almost immediately about your life. What is the reach and the quality of your signal? Now, you need to understand that there's an equation there. Right signal plus quality plus reach plus consistency, right, is equal to quality subscriber base. I'll take that again. Right signal plus quality plus reach plus consistency equals quality subscriber base. Right signal plus quality. So it's not enough for you to send the right signal, but it must be qualitative. Then it must be able to penetrate. Then it must be consistent. That's what gives you quality subscribers base. So there are so many people winking, so many people doing stuff, and they say, oh, I'm not known. I'm not gaining traction. You are not gaining traction because your signal is not consistent, or because your signal is not reaching the desired audience, right? Of what essence is your life when you have built a skyscraper and you want to earn bountiful from the rent, but you are going to build your skyscraper in the village, right? I remember my mother's house. My mother went to build a house in the village, and the last client, the last tenant she had, at his tenancy, his rent was 250 naira, but the guy was still owing. So my mother got angry and went to give our house to church to say, how can somebody be paying 250 naira a month and still be owing? So she got upset and went to dash out the house. But imagine she had built the house in Lagos, she would still have been making money. So right signal plus quality plus reach plus consistency equal quality subscribers base. So question this morning is, what signal are you sending? What signal are you sending? Now, what signal must you stop? What signal must you stop? Now, if you check some people's social media handle, right, or the way they behave on social media, you can't say, for example, you're a celebrity and you're fighting dirty, right? There are brands that will have no business with you. Why? Because you have not qualified to become a role model. So people don't understand that building a brand is a lifestyle, right? It's a combination of life plus style. Where life means that this is exactly what I want. The style is the behavior that must lead you in the direction of the life you want, right? So what we say in lifestyle is your style must guarantee your life, while the life must determine or define the style you adopt. That is the meaning of lifestyle, right? So you need to ask yourself, what signal must you start sending? What signal must you stop sending, right? Let me tell you, if you follow what I've said this morning, you will change your life totally in 1 month, right? That what is that one thing you want to focus on, one thing you want to be known for, one thing you want to become an authority at, right? That if they invite you for any other thing that is not in consonance with what you want to be known for, you will not take it. Now, there are people who invite me to churches, invite me to places, they want me to speak on something else. I always tell them, as long as it's not family life, I'm not coming. You know why? Because they can't accommodate my thoughts in those areas. They can't even accept it because my thoughts in the areas they want me to come, it will put them in trouble, right? And in order not to diffuse and dilute my brand, I'll tell them, please let me come and speak on family life, right? You have to be known for something. Like I said, if you mention Lionel Messi, lawn tennis cannot come to your mind. It's only football that will come to your mind. If you mention Serena Williams, football cannot come to your mind. It must be lawn tennis, right? If you mention Akim Olajuwon, it has to be basketball. If you mention Kobe Bryant, it has to be basketball, right? When your name is mentioned, what comes to people's mind? You need to define it. At some point, Jesus asked his disciples, who do men say I am? He thought it was Jesus, but the disciples said, they think you are Elijah. Then he asked them, who do you say I am? Because the worst thing that can happen to you is for you to think you are Jesus and for the people to think you are Elijah. It's a problem, right? Because it's like you say your product is gold, but the subscribers think that you are panda, right? They are going to price your gold in the price of panda. So if you want to be a premium earner, you cannot communicate mediocrity, right? Or else they will price you low, you mess up your brand. At the end of the day, people will pay you what you don't want to earn, right? Guys, life is intentional, and you need to understand that life is not emotional. Life will give you what you demand, not what you desire. Your demand must, however, be intentional. So fix your signal today, create a signal, accept yourself for who you are, focus on one thing, let that one thing take you to the market all around the world. When the market now accepts you, you can diversify because whatever carries your name will sell. Michael Jackson was known for music. He rehearsed 11 hours every day. The moment he became the king of pop, brand endorsements began to come. The moment he began to take a particular drink, wow, because it now became associated with drinks, and they paid him handsomely to do it because anything that carried his name would sell at that level. I hope I've helped you this morning. I'll be back 3 a.m. tomorrow, but remember that we will no longer be on social media platform like that. Tomorrow we will move to YouTube channel every 3 a.m. You don't want to miss it. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go there. Praise Forward Live on YouTube. Subscribe, because 3 a.m. we will be there from tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining me. My Facebook audience, sorry for the network, but we'll try and then put this up for you. Thank you everyone for joining me. I really, really appreciate you, and I honor you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, keep loving, keep living, and remember, you are a savior to the problem of the world. Go ahead, save your world. Bye-bye.